I love Oakland. I love its diversity. I love its culture, and I feel like we're losing that so rapidly. But it's always been like over 90% of the people we see being displaced are people of color. Go to the courthouse where they have eviction court for Alameda County and just look up and down the hallways, and you will see who is getting pushed out of Oakland. It's all black and brown faces, predominantly. And I think it's tragic, really. I think there is not enough low-income housing, as you can see when you drive under the underpasses and you see the huge growing homeless population that we have. We have very old housing stock in Oakland, so sometimes you will be surprised when people come in to see the conditions they're living in, with like caved-in ceilings and rats and cockroaches and mold blackened on the walls. But it's such a desperate housing market, like a lot of people have no choice but to take those types of situations where, you know, you ask them a few questions, their heater hasn't worked, their stove doesn't work, they can't cook at home, their refrigerator doesn't work, but they're just, you know, doing the best they can to scrap the money together to keep paying the rent, because it's better than living under the underpass, right? What continually like upsets me every day is really like the lack of humanity I see, and sometimes that can make you like stop believing that like people are good, because you're just like, you know, you're like, really, this person was your tenant for like 40 years, they're in their 80s, and you want to evict them to get a rent increase. Like who puts 80-year-olds on the street, veterans, you know, disabled people on oxygen tanks? But unfortunately, what we see day in and day out is that really greed and the need to maximize rental profits no bounds in many situations, and we see the fallout from that. Like, people are willing to put children out on the street to try to maximize their rental income. The people who most need our services are the least likely to know about us, right? Because I mean, we have a significant immigrant population here. A lot of our clients are not literate in either their home language or in English, so they never find us, and they're also unfortunately the most easy to take advantage of. They're the ones who will keep paying even though conditions are atrocious, who don't know their rights, don't know that there has to be a good reason to evict them. Our organization is very small, so a lot of what we do is like frontline triage work. We're not here to solve the housing problem. We basically just help as many people as we can try to keep a roof over their heads so they're not homeless. And I feel very honored to serve the clients that we serve, because it's just amazing. You know, you talk to people and what they've been through in their lives and what they're going through and how resilient people are. And I think day to day, what keeps all of us going is just, you know, the small victories, keeping someone in their home, someone like finding another place, or maybe getting a repair done, or just the little things. You know, I think that's why it's important to have partnerships with agencies that are looking more at the big picture, because for me, with my clients, it's more about survival. You know, and I know that's sad that we don't talk about hope for a better day, but we talk more about how are you going to get food on the table for your kids, and how are you going to keep a roof over your head? And because we don't have the luxury of looking at the bigger picture, and I think that's why these types of partnerships are important. For years, for like decades, I was just like nose to the ground, just trying to stop individual families and people from becoming homeless, because that's all we can do, and we're like up to here doing that. It's like such a crisis. It has been for a long time, and there's so many people who need assistance, and we're the last stop before you're under the underpass, literally. And then I think, you know, more recently, the past few years, I was able to take a step back and start thinking more like big picture, collaborating with the city and trying to work with them and the amazing resources they have, especially with Barbara Parker and everything she's been doing. Many people come in with eviction cases, and they all had the same terrible, like, the ceiling's caved in, it's flooded, there's mold, mildew, cockroaches, rats, rodents, bed bugs. And after like the third or fourth one, when my staff was like, we need to go look at this. So we went out to the property. It's like 5 blocks away from here, right? And it was like just atrocious. The first thing you do is you walk in and like the whole ceiling's caved in. There's like 3 inches of water. We're going into the units. All the community bathrooms are boarded up except for like 1 or 2 for 9 floors or 7 floors. It was unbelievable. But we can defend the evictions in court, but like, what's the bigger picture? This place is, and then I looked at my computer and realized that we've been dealing with the same property for decades with the same problems, and all we can do is fight each individual eviction and maybe tell the judge, hey, this place is really bad. Nothing happens. So once again, contacted the city of Oakland, told them about the property. They immediately started coordinating city inspectors to go and start going, like, I think it was every other week, floor to floor, and just citing the landlord. They filed a motion to have the place put into receivership, which then sent it to bankruptcy. The city of Oakland chased it all the way to bankruptcy court, made, I don't know, like hundreds of court appearances. That we can't do that type of stuff here, right? We just organized them, handed it to the city. Eventually, a sale was forced. So like one of the worst slumlords in Oakland had to sell the property to a nonprofit housing developer who is then now, as we speak, converting it into low-income housing units. And all the tenants who were there got to stay. And that's an amazing result because a slum property got converted into affordable housing, which we need so much more of in Oakland. We need it all, right? We need people on the front line representing individuals, and then we need someone looking out for the broader interests of the entire community, enforcing the laws that we have. And I think that's where the city of Oakland comes in, because I can enforce the law in a single eviction case over and over and over again. But if the city comes in and is enforcing it on a broader level across the city, that makes a huge difference in protecting people's rights.
The Oakland City Attorney's Office is committed to enforcing the right of Oakland tenants to safe, healthy, and dignified housing. To report harassment to the City Attorney's Office, please contact the Neighborhood Law Corps. For a range of housing services and referrals, please call or visit the City of Oakland Housing Resource Center. And for legal advice or representation, please contact a local nonprofit organization or private attorney. Together, we can fight for housing justice in Oakland.